Good morning. Well, it's almost noon, but just coming out, and this is what stands in front of me after some morning thunderstorms that have seemed to pass, and the sun is peeking through now. Just wanted to show you how much has changed. The irises are blooming, the peonies, the buds are getting bigger, um, and the foxglove are up and blooming. This is a new garden area I've been working on. Going to be primarily potted plants. I got a nice little bright bistro set that I'm looking forward to have my morning coffee or tea here and just enjoy. It gets the morning sun, but in the afternoon it should be nice and cooler than the rest of the yard. That's a hydrangea that I need to trim back. The new shoots are up. I'm not sure if I'll get any blooms. I don't think it's the right location for it. Since I've had it, which is several years, it's got 2 blooms one year, and they were blue, so I was happy about that. But I may need to transplant it, or take some cuttings and start some new plants. That's my daughter's dog. I'm dog sitting this week. He doesn't like it when I'm out here without him. Little pansies. Looks like something's enjoying it for dinner. And the foxglove, they're one of my favorites, if not my favorite. And I kind of just let them do what they want in my yard. They take over certain areas some years and then another area another year. And I like that about them. You know, for me, I think of them as a fairy flower. I'm sure the fairies enjoy them. I once read that fairies enjoy bell-shaped flowers. So, if you hear me, fairies, enjoy. The columbine have been blooming all week, since last week. The allium are about done. And my clematis is blooming. I wish it was climbing more. I have to work on that one. It's a little bit of sun catcher I made. The foxglove are weeped over from the heavy rain we had this morning. I got a new hanger, plant hanger. I have to find the right plant for that. And that's one of my favorite hostas. It's such a pretty color. I had separated it last year, and this is what remains of the mother plant, and it's doing really well. However, my other one that I separated is a little bit slower growing. To the side of the house, I was working in this garden. My favorite rose bush about to bloom. Looks like I have something feeding on the buds. They're the hot pokers. And they'll be in full bloom in another week or so. Yeah, that's an area I have to weed when I get around to it. And there's some foxglove. Last year I just threw some seed pods back there, and it looks like they made themselves at home. just so fun coming out into the garden and see what has changed. Here's my rhododendron. It's probably about 70 years old, maybe more. I've been here 50 years, and this was pretty large when I moved here, so I know they're slow growing, but it's really a beautiful bush. I do have to trim it back this year. I don't like it when it starts to grow over my windows. I have small windows as it is, and I need all the daylight to come in as much as possible. So I'll be trimming this back after it's done. I wanted to catch this before the rains ruin the blossoms. Heavy rains often, I find the blossoms dropping more quickly. But yeah. The daylilies will be blooming soon. My Shasta daisy. Landseer, I'm going to separate it. It kind of takes over too. I'll give it to friends or neighbors, family, whoever wants them. I have plenty. That's what's nice about a garden. It's hard to waste anything when you have people who want them. And there's some victims of my daughter's dog. He tends to like to run right through the flowers, whereas my other dogs know better. The garden and the flowers serve as my calendar, a reminder of how quickly things change, how quickly time passes us by. A reminder not to put off what we think can wait, because we just don't know. We wait too long to walk the gardens, we miss the blooms. I'm hoping while I'm sitting here on my kitchen steps, I actually call it the Kitchen Step Cafe. This is where I usually sit to have my tea and coffee. But I'm hoping some of the hummingbirds come. Maybe not. The birds were very vocal this morning. They still are a little, but they have quieted down. Quiet, please. Hey. They don't listen very well. The clouds are clearing. The sun is trying to burst through. As you can see, I have trees all around me. I guess no hummingbirds today. The other day I spent a good almost half hour watching Hummer Wars. We'll have to dig out that video. The two male hummingbirds are really going at it. And I've seen that quite often. That's not a problem here. In Pennsylvania, we have hummingbirds that are very territorial, unlike the ones I've seen in other states where you can have more than one at your feeder. That just doesn't happen here. So these two hummingbirds were fighting and fighting, zooming at each other. I could hear their bills clicking. I could tell they were tiring because every once in a while one would settle down on the feeder, but quickly the other would come and chase it away. It almost ended in tragically, when the two tangled and fell to the ground. And sadly, my cats were nearby waiting. But fortunately, the hummingbirds got back up and flew away, and then continued their fighting. But I did sit for a good half hour just watching them. I've never seen them bicker and fight each other for that long of a period. Usually one flies away. This time, neither one of them were giving up. It was quite entertaining, as long as no one got hurt. And I do appreciate nature's entertainment. But I do fear that we're not going to see hummingbirds this morning. The rain has stopped. I thought they'd be out feeding. The only things that are feeding are the black ants. Usually, I get an occasional wasp also helping themselves. But this is the first that I've seen the ants come out. I've had the hummingbird feeder up since April. So I will have to do something about the ants that are finding their way to the feeder. Well, I guess that's it for today. Have a great one, and don't forget to take the time to see the blooms in your life. So long.